Bernice, this is beautiful over here. Tell me about the pieces that are in this part of the exhibit.
So in 1865, Matt Gardner, a young 21-year-old man, was freed of slavery. And he left slavery with $100 in his pocket. And the way he got that $100 was that his slave owner's son had a drinking problem. And every time he went out and rescued this man, his owner would give him cash. And he saved that cash. And when he was finally freed, he parlayed that cash into owning 300 acres of rich bottomland in Giles County on the shore of the Elk River. And it was a very, very beautiful homestead that he had. And his family to this day never sold off that land.
That's wonderful.
And his family got together and made a historic site, actually a museum, out of his home. And we have a lot to learn from Matt and the way that he used his intelligence and his common sense and his goodwill to not only take care of his 11 children and his wife, but also he took care of the whole community. And Matt learned from his slave owner what the good life was. And so when he would make some furniture, like you see a baby crib that he made with his own hands, he copied a baby crib that was in the slave owner's home. When he went to buy his wife a present for their anniversary, he bought her a rocker that was reminiscent of his slave owner's rocker. And he noticed that his slave owner lent people money. And he lent people money, and he saved a lot of farms, and he often didn't get paid back. Later in his life, he won an award from the governor of Tennessee because he grew 70% of everything that his family needed, and that was 11 children, on his farm. And so on this wall you see some of the farm implements. His wife, Rita, was a wonderful quilt maker. So you see a few examples of her quilts there. And the other thing about Matt, he never learned how to read, but he had memorized large portions of the Bible. And he became a preacher for several churches in the area. And there's a painting on the wall to our left which shows that he bought an island in the Elk River for baptism. Oh, wow. And he shared that with all the white churches and the black churches in the area. And then during a baptism, everyone would come out on the bridge, the white and the black community, and witness the baptism. And it was one way that the community really came together. Yeah. So the one final thing that I want to say about Matt Gardner was that he was an educator. And even though he never was taught to read, he knew the power of education, and he started several schools for black students in this community here in Giles County. And the amazing thing about it was that these kids were not acclimated to any kind of a school schedule. Most of them didn't even have shoes. They were basically farm workers, and he had to be very, very careful and very smart in order to corral these kids into getting an education. And he housed the teachers, he paid for the teachers with his own money, and he, started the school in such a way that it was not mandatory, and that way he lured the kids in. So he was a wonderful, wonderful man, and his, if you look on the website, Matt Gardner Homestead Museum, read his obituary and the obituary of his wife, Rita, because they were beloved by all people of all color, and he was a real success story.
That's wonderful. So this is a beautiful piece at the gallery here. Folks, you need to come down and see this. Again, what are the dates that this runs through?
Okay, so this runs until February 15th, and the gallery is opened Monday through Friday from 9 until 5.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Bernice.
Oh, yes, you're welcome.